Hello to you all, Millie Lloyd, hope you're all good. It's Old School Gamer 1971 with my top 10 for the game of the year. If you would, please like, comment, share and subscribe. It makes the channel grow and puts a big old smile on this old face. Post your list down below in the comments. I look forward to reading them. So at number 10, Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out for the PlayStation 4 in 2018 and was developed by Ubisoft. When the game opens up, it is in battle. This is a really good way to open the game, as you get to see those new combat mechanics. I like how they don't show you the open world straight away. You know it is going to be good, but nothing prepares you for how good this game looks. You can choose either a male or female protagonist. Piece of advice, choose female as the male voiceover is a little bit crap. Then when you see it, you are blown away. You can spend so long on the first small island alone, and it's only a small percentage of the overall game. The map has so much for you to do. Ubisoft is an amazing developer. I can't help but play their games. Whether it's Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs or even Valiant Hearts, they are all titles I enjoy immensely. But this is one amazing game. Really good combat, and the bounty hunters, they try to chase you down so hard. Considering how close to each other this and Origins were released, it is really impressive. Yes, I know they was developed at the same time, but this is such a large step in the right direction in my opinion. The time off really allowed for the franchise to grow. I hope that New Dawn works out, as I am sure that they could do something for that world as well. Add to this the season pass includes Assassin's Creed 3. For value and all the added mechanics to gameplay is why this game makes the list. So my number 9 then, The Forest, came out for the PlayStation 4 in 2018 and was developed by 10's Games. This game I play most days, sometimes only one game day passes. However, on other days, I think the most days I've done in one day is 10 game days. Each game day lasts around 36 minutes, so around 6 hours in one session. This is addictive as hell. You never know what each day brings. Being 100 days in, never 2 days are exactly the same. Weapons to find and upgrade, a simple story but effective. Creating your base, setting traps for food and defences, collecting resources for creating and upgrading. The fact you need water, food and meds to survive. There are not many survival games on the PlayStation 4. However, I still feel this one would still hold its head up high even if there was. It feels like survival. Learning about the patterns of mutants and cannibals alike, as sometimes they won't attack you, but it's knowing that they're not going to. Other times they come straight at you. Don't chop down trees, that's the first thing, not in front of them anyway. Multiplayer is so much fun as well, as you can work it between you, gathering supplies and making the stuff for the camp. It halves or quarters what you can do. It is a pity this didn't sell that well. For me, the only reason this is not higher on this list is how strong the competition is this year. However, I still believe I will be playing this next year if not the year after. Many of the other titles on this list I probably won't be. I hope that they make a sequel to this game and it shifts more copies. So if there is one game on this list that you should get, especially if you like Minecraft, then it should be The Forest. So my number 8, Far Cry 5, came out for the PlayStation 4 in 2018 and was developed by Ubisoft. This is hard for me to put Far Cry 5 so low on this list. Testament again to how good this year has been game wise. Anyway, confession time. Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned yet again this week. My child, this is becoming a little habitual. Father, Far Cry 5 is the best Far Cry so far in my opinion. Heathen, I cast ye down. But Father, it looks so good. Its controls are tight, the story is interesting, the setting looks beautiful, and it's what I look for in a game. Do not tempt me, get ye behind me, Satan. This game is so much fun, and it's an amazing setting. The DLC to the overall package. Yet again you get Far Cry 3 all in on the deal, so it sweetens it so much. But in all honesty, the game holds up on its own. For me, getting the dog, Boomer, and the cougar, Peaches, on the go at the same time, it might be the most fun I've had in a game in years. The main story is brilliant, side quests varied, and collectibles that cover the whole map. Whether I'm playing for 5 minutes or 5 hours, it's always fun, and I always leave that game wanting more. The wingsuit, helicopters, vehicles and boats, they get you from A to B. They're always fun to get around and cause destruction. But again, the minute you use a vehicle, you miss all that beautiful scenery. For DLC and fun gameplay, it's what puts it on this list. Okay, on to my number 7 then. Shadow of the Colossus came out for the PlayStation 4 in 2018 and was developed by Bluepoint. Okay, I own this but have held off playing it knowing I won't be able to put this game down. This game originated on the PlayStation 2 and it ran at about 6 to 12 frames per second. Then they remade it for the PlayStation 3. And it looked good, it was quite an improvement. And certainly they improved it in the gameplay department. Now we fast forward to this year, and I thought it would only just be a little bit of a cash grab. That the game would be just the PlayStation 3 version re-rendered for the PlayStation 4 and released. How wrong I was. It was made from the ground up, it looks amazing. You can tell that this is a game that has been made by a team who obviously loved the source material. Anyone who played the original should look to see how the game has grown. For anybody who has never played the original, you need to play this. It's a game that you experience, and whilst the only real enemies kind of are the Colossus, they look amazing, they are massive in size, and yet there is a sadness to this story. You are trying to resurrect your loved one, and you are convinced that in the Colossus's death, resurrection of your loved one will happen. So you set out to kill them all in this massive open world. With very little in the way of weapons, it's about finding the weak spots and taking them down. This shows what a remaster or remake should be, and that is why it's deservedly on this list. So my number 6, Monster Hunter World, came out for the PlayStation 4 in 2018 and was developed by Capcom. To me, this was a bit of a surprise hit. Now, I like Japanese games, and this is very Japanese. Released in January this year, fans of the game knew what to expect, but it seemed a little niche at best. Somehow it sold off the shelf. I love how this looked and how it played. It's complicated enough to be interesting in the long term, but easy enough to jump into as a first time player. The fact as well that you can jump in with your friends and make a party to get through the game. Learning the monsters' movements and attacks. How to hunt them is learned in time. I have had a little time with this title, around 5 hours. However, I only managed to scratch the surface in that time. I only really learned about one monster. Yes, there are roaming monsters, but the larger ones you do have to learn about how to take them down. With so much to do, mission, side quest and exploration, it's a game that feels full and plays so well. With a hack and slash gameplay with RPG undertones, this is one that even if you're not an RPG fan or you don't like hack and slash, you should still give it a go. The world is beautiful and the game is large. But more than that, the game feels rewarding. It's good to see that the DLC has been free so far. For this reason and the upcoming DLC, that is why this game is on my list. So on to my number 5 then. Life is Strange 2 came out for the PlayStation 4 in 2018 and was developed by Don't Nod. Okay, I love the original, also love the prequel, and I will get around to buying this. It came out at the wrong time, around EGX, and I'm also waiting for the 3rd episode to drop, as there's always a bit of time in between episodes. Life is Strange 2 is set in the same universe as the first game, but with all new characters. Last time it was about time travel, rewinding time. So much fun that could have been had and was had being used in so many different ways. This time it's about telekinetic powers. This looks so cool on screen. Watch the trailer and see what I mean. This light prequel to this game was also so much fun. What you're seeing right now is the first game. It has the same art style and the overall feel of the game is the same. On another year this could have been 1 or 2, but this year it's hard to pick a game. This deserves its spot as it's a narrative game that makes you feel something. The original did, the prequel did, even like the demo to this did. The writers work hard to give everyone a character, big or small part in the story. With Telltale being gone, there is only really Quantic Dream and Don't Nod that are left in narrative driven games. And, in all honesty, I prefer Life is Strange 2 to Detroit Become Human, so it's on my list. My number 4 then, Spider-Man, came out for the PlayStation 4 in 2018 and was developed by Insomniac. One of my favourite games from the PlayStation 1 era was Spider-Man 2. It was a vast improvement over the first game. I have tried many of the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 Spider-Man games, and while some was a little bit fun, I couldn't help but think, this is not Spider-Man 2. I love the swinging mechanics, the speed of the game, it all came together in one game. Now I had seen the game trailers for this game and I was impressed, but it's when you see it being played or playing it yourself that you finally see what this game has. The first time you see a deep swing and then flying into the air. My flatmate has the game. I watch them play it sometimes, and a trailer does not prepare you for how good it looks or how free its movement is. I ultimately didn't get this game as there was other games that I wanted more and was saving for EGX at the time. I will definitely get this game. It looks like everything Spider-Man 2 was and then more. The action is fast, and on a PlayStation 4 Pro it is jaw-dropping. Spider-Man is on this list as it's a return to form for both Spider-Man and Insomniac games. So my top 3. At number 3, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom came out for the PlayStation 4 in 2018 and was developed by Level 5. I love it when a new Level 5 game is in the works. From as far back as Dark Cloud, I've loved every game from Dark Cloud to White Knight Chronicles, and especially Ni no Kuni for the reasons I've discussed on this channel before. I've loved them all and every game in between. So when Revenant Kingdom was announced, I knew I wanted the game. I got it this summer past, pretty much at the same time I got Monster Hunter World. I was so impressed with art style and gameplay. I had needlessly worried about whether or not it could live up to the first game. It did so easily. Like the first game, it played well and drew you into the story. And whilst I don't think the backstory is as strong as the first game, you know, like your mum dies and you set out on a quest whereby you've been told that if you find and help your mother in that world, then she might come back to this world. But this was a worthy successor. You're trying to save a child's kingdom because his dad died and he was to become king and there was a coup. With decent gameplay and a proper RPG grind, any RPG of worth has to have a grind, and the cartoon art style, this looks like a cartoon. It makes its way onto my list for style, for being a true Japanese RPG. And remember, you don't need to have played the first game to play this. It's set in the same universe but not connected in any other way. With Square Enix dropping the ball with its Final Fantasy games recently, I've been looking elsewhere for my RPG fix. Level 5 is my new home. And so on to my penultimate entry. Number 2, Red Dead Redemption 2 came out for the PlayStation 4 in 2018 and was developed by Rockstar. Okay, the crack cocaine of games. I think I speak for everyone who has played the game. Red Dead Redemption 2 has so much in it you can plough days if not weeks into the game and only just scratch the surface. As I said in the 3-hour review, the first game made me want to be a cowboy. This game is just so much more than the first entry. That is not to say that the first game was bad in any way. It's just to say that this game is so damn good. There is so much to do. I love fishing and hunting. You can leave the main story alone and just delve into the vast open world. Walking is not really an option. The map is just so big. Nowadays it's such a big event when Rockstar release a game. The quality of their games is now so high. They set the standard, but not just in the open world genre. It sets the standard for AAA gaming as a whole. A small thing I know, but this is the attention to detail. But you have to grow your hair and your beard before you can have it cut or styled. The worlds are normally filled with stuff to do, but with this world it's so detailed and with storylines that are amazing, with characters to love and hate. You are immersed into a world that you don't want to leave. You can't help but be pulled into their world. But the graphics, weather effects and map size took Red Dead Redemption 2 to the number 2 slot. Now please, a little more news on Bully 2. Please. And so number 1, my game of the year, God of War, came out for the PlayStation 4 in 2018 and developed by Santa Monica. So God of War, this wins over Red Dead for one reason and one reason only. I knew how good Red Dead would be. I knew it would be outstanding. However, God of War on the other hand was so far removed from what the original game was, and all in a good way. It wins because I don't think anyone had an idea of what this was going to be. Normally when we get a reboot, they often don't step too far away from the tree. This however was from top to bottom was just so much more than the original. Now I love the original series. It was a breath of fresh air when it released for the PlayStation 2 and on PSP. On the PS3 it had hits, the collections and God of War 3 on one miss, Ascension. So when this was shown it looked something else. Combat looked a different animal. With 40 hours of storyline to get through and side quests, collectibles and bosses that are miles off the beaten track. Even just throwing your axe and calling it back is so damn good. The story is so strong and switching the location made it so fresh. Gameplay all anew, all adds up to one hell of a sequel. If this is going to be the quality of God of War franchise going forward, then I cannot wait to see what the next God of War brings, because it will be on PlayStation 5. For bringing originality to the franchise and showing not just what the PlayStation 4 Pro can do, but what a game can be when the team is given as much time as they need. For all of those reasons and the fact that it went above and beyond what anyone thought that it would be, makes this Game of the Year for 2018. Right, before I end this, I really have to make some honourable mentions. It was such a strong year for games. These are the games that didn't quite make the list, but I believe they need a mention. Valkyria Chronicles 4, one of my favourite RPG strategy games of the year. Spyro Trilogy, I would love to say that this was overdue, but just look and play the game and you will see it was released at just the right time. The Walking Dead final season. This might be the strongest season since season 1 and it has a lot of originality to it. Detroit Become Human. For all the negative press, Detroit is an experience that you have to see and feel to believe how good it is, and you always want to see what is coming up in the next bit. And finally, Call of Cthulhu. I get that this is just a horror game, but it was released in time for Halloween, and you know what? For all of its shortcomings, I think it looks a pretty damn good game, and I will be getting it shortly. Anyway, to all of my subscribers, thanks for subscribing. I enjoy posting these videos every week. I will post a video next week that will be about where I would like to take the channel in the new year, so if you're interested, have a watch. Anyway, so Merry Christmas to absolutely everybody. I hope you and your family enjoy the holiday season, and I will be back soon. Well, that's about it for me today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Old School Gamer 1971 signing off.